Hello everyone, my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. What you are looking at here is the February 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit Lovely Day original cards designed by Paper Pumpkin and alternative projects. So here we go, just to show you quickly. These are the cards that Paper Pumpkin designed for the kit. Very simple, very easy, very beautiful. Okay, and then here are some alternative projects we're going to be making inspired by the Paper Pumpkin kit, but also incorporating best dressed, everything is rosy, and some random embellishments and punches and things like that. We're going to make one of each of the cards exactly as Paper Pumpkin, or close as possible, to the way the Paper Pumpkin designed it, and we're going to use our instructions for that that always come right within the kit. And then we're going to make some alternate projects with it too. So if you haven't already, if you like videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. If you like Paper Pumpkin videos or alternate projects in particular, go ahead and like this video to let me know so that I have the feedback to keep making these. If you're comfortable leaving a comment, that would be great. And same for sharing. If that's something that you would like to do, I would really appreciate it, but only if you would like to. Okay, and then with every Paper Pumpkin kit comes a flyer where they're talking about coordination. So right now during celebration, which runs through March 31st, there is a stamp set that you can get called Happy Birthday to You. I actually recently did a video using this stamp set, and I will link to it so that you can see that video if you're interested. But they actually are suggesting that if you have this stamp set, or if you're planning to get this stamp set, if you order during celebration, it will coordinate beautifully with the February Paper Pumpkin kit. And you can see because the font is exactly the same as on the Happy Birthday to You stamp set. And of course we have a birthday theme with the birthday cake. Here is an individual slice. And if you're interested in having the whole cake, that stamp is available in the Happy Birthday to You. Totally optional. It is not required. On the other side, they're letting you know about next month's Paper Pumpkin kit, which they always let you know, which is wonderful. This is a little sneak peek of what the box is going to look like. This is a special edition box, and that is because Paper Pumpkin is celebrating its birthday in March, and they're going to put a free stamp set in addition to the one that comes in the kit. If you subscribe by March 10th, you will receive a free stamp set in your March Paper Pumpkin kit. So it's a great time to sign up for that. I want to give a little shout out to the Paper Pumpkin block here. This is the block that comes with your Paper Pumpkin kit. And then you get the block the first time you get your kit, and then you just use this block continuously, or of course you can use any other blocks that you have in your collection. For the sake of moving more quickly in this video, I am going to be using other clear blocks. So that's going to be an alternate product that you're going to see me using. You're also going to see me using our snail adhesive again, just in terms of speed, but we will be using the dots, the Stampin' Dimensionals, and the little glue dots or the adhesive dots that came in the Paper Pumpkin kit as well. The snail adhesive is not part of the Paper Pumpkin kit. So just wanted to mention that because you're going to see me working with those additional items. And we'll just keep in mind, Rococo Rose is the only ink color that we're using for this round of cards because this is the color that was provided in the kit. I am going to be using my full size ink pad, but you could certainly use your ink spot, your Stampin' Spot. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our rich raspberry card base here. Okay, so this is going to layer over top just like this. You can see here on the image that they've actually stamped the image of the flower right over this impression, this colored impression. They've also stamped the additional sprig, which we are going to do, and they stamped the have a and birthday, and then they're using Lovely is one of my favorite words, by the way. They're using the 3-dimensional Lovely. You can see that this is dimension. This is basically like a word dimensional, which is amazing. And I'm really, really hoping that these come back, or that they have these in our next catalog. I love these. Let me know what you think of these in the comments below. Okay. I am using Clear Block D, but this stamp will also fit on your paper pumpkin block. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up the leaves. So I'm going to use that as my guide. The green, the green, and the green. The green, the green, the green. The leaf, the leaf, the leaf. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll see how I do. You can see it's a little bit crooked. That's okay. All right, and I think that turned out great. The next thing we're going to be stamping is our sprig, or our little flower. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have that come right out of this little indent in the flower. That's my paper pumpkin block. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to use are our die cut pieces for the sentiments. That's this right here. Okay, I'm just going to take this right out, and let's go ahead and we'll stamp our, I am using block G for this, and then one side has Hava, and then the other side has birthday on it. I do that sometimes with the smaller stamps. Okay, so I'm just going to use our Rococo Rose for this. And I wanted to show you this in the picture because I did notice this the first time I stamped it. In the photo, you can see that they have A is actually here. It's more centered in this spot. And then birthday is more towards this spot. And they stamped it close to the line, close to this foil stamp, so that they could fit the dimensional Lovely in between, so that your Lovely isn't covering your sentiment. So we're just going to be mindful of that when we stamp that. Okay, so I'm going to stamp birthday first. Perfect. Okay. And let's do have A. Let's make sure it's the right side up. Stamping this closer to the top line. Great. Okay, so I'm just going to add this. Now you could use your adhesive dots here, or if you wanted to make it dimensional, you could put your Stampin' Dimensionals here. I'm actually going to let it be flush, and I'm going to let the Lovely pop up. So let me use my snail. Here is our Lovely. And you can see it fits right in there. Okay, I'm also going to use this to adhere it to the card. Okay, so we're going to add our sequins, and basically what I have been doing with the sequins, these do not have adhesive on them yet, so we're going to use the adhesive dots. Just getting some sequins right out of the bag. I'm going to take my little adhesive dot. I've just been peeling them up, putting it on the back of the sequin, peeling it and sticking it. Okay. All right, so here is our first card. Okay, that matches right back to this. So simple, so pretty. Look at how this lovely pops. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love, that is my favorite element of this kit, and I love flowers. But that is, yeah, I mean, everything about it, including the color of the foil stamping, is just gorgeous. Okay, so let's go with our next card. So for this card, this is our pretty peacock pool party theme here, from the Paper Pumpkin designers. They do such a great job every month. Okay, now this is actually going to pop out. We're going to save this. Okay, so we will definitely use this on something else. All right, so here we're going to use our die cut. We're going to do a little stamping with the cake. So the cake is going to get a little bit of Rococo Rose. So let's try this side. Can you still see this on camera? Yes. Okay. Let's see how we do with this one. Great. We did good with this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is that's going to go inside the circle. So let's just do a quick check of our image here. So we're going to stamp birthday wishes, and we're going to go with the two tail. So you can see this longer one is for the longer sentiment. We're going to go with the two tail for this one. The two tail die cut. I love the foil stamping on these. Gives it a nice little extra touch. I'm going to grab my birthday stamp again. Okay. And we're going to use the wishes piece. So what we're going to do here, before we start adhering our sentiments on, I'm going to take 4 of our Stampin' Dimensionals. I want this to stand up a little bit. I want to have a little bit of a window here. Just centering this. Want to make sure that your die cut piece stays out of sight from the edge here. Okay, so this just gives it a little bit of shadow, a little bit of a dimension, which I like personally. If you would want to do it flat, you could certainly do that. And then when we adhere to the card, we're going to do that again with the dimensionals. Okay, but for now we can start to put our layering pieces on. I'm going to bring in my snail, which is from my own collection. And again, when you're using adhesive, just be mindful whenever you have an open spot of where you're putting your adhesive, because this is lifted off of the paper slightly. I don't want to put adhesive across this whole thing and then this be bent. So I'm really just going to concentrate my adhesive on this side. Okay. And that way I'll know that it's adhered. Okay, and if you would feel better putting a dimensional here to give it some stability, you could absolutely do that. Let's go ahead and do that since we're talking about it. No one will see it. Okay, and then we're going to put our wishes right over top. birthday. How cute is that? All right, let's add some sequins to this. We'll put the sequins around the cake. Okay, I love that. So let's put our little Stampin' Dimensionals. We're gonna do Stampin' Dimensionals in 3 corners here. And then for that 4th corner, since it's already popped up on this side, I'm just gonna put some snail right on top of that. You could always tuck a dimensional back here or do a mini dimensional if you really wanna get that corner. Okay, and that is the 2nd card. All right, so for our 3rd card, we have a little fun fold here. We have a little tuck in. Okay, so here is the slot for this. And then of course this will tuck in here. Now you're not gonna see this because our flower goes right over top. And this is probably one of my favorite elements overall about being a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. Already done, already shaded, already with that impression. You don't have to do anything except adhere it to the card. And in the instructions when I was reading this earlier, when I was putting them together earlier, they were again just reminding you to be mindful of where you're putting your adhesive, because when you open this card, and I believe it opens this way, they want to make sure that you don't have adhesive preventing you from opening the card. So whenever you're putting your flower on, just make sure that you do that so that it's only on this side. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this one. So if we look at our image, if we refer back, you can see that we have a little stamped sprig here, and we're stamping "You're a Great Reason To," and that's it for stamping on this particular card. So this is another really easy one. And let's go ahead and put this one together. I'm going to use my snail adhesive for the flower. I'm going to do exactly what they said, and I'm just going to be mindful of where that adhesive is going. Okay, but before I actually set it down, I'm going to stamp my flower spray. If I could find that stamp, here it is. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. No exact measurements here. If I know that my flower is going to sit pretty much here, then I'm going to go ahead and stamp it here. And then let me I just want to have it covered so that you don't see the end of the stamp. Okay, so I'm just going to put it right here. All right, and then you can see there's no adhesive on this side. We're good to go. You're a great reason to. I'm going to leave this flat also. So in this case, you could, if you're sticking with the adhesive from your kit, you could use the adhesive dots. I'm going to use my snail. I'm just checking for my adhesive, where my adhesive is. And I'm thinking what I would like to do is kind of have this tucked under the flower a little bit. I know that's not what they did, but I think I would like to do that because I have a little extra white space there. Okay, so you're a great reason to, and then we're gonna add our celebrate. So I think that the biggest thing about this kit is the positioning, just making sure that your positioning is right. But everything else is just, it's pretty effortless. There's really not much that you have to do here to get these really fabulous cards. Okay, so we're gonna add a couple of sequins to this card as well. Gotta have our sequins, right? Whatever you would want to put on the inside of your cards, you could do that. You could stamp in there. You're a great reason to celebrate. You could stamp congratulations on the inside, or you can stamp have a happy birthday on the inside, right from this kit. So these are the 3 cards that were pre-designed by Stampin' Up. And now we're going to work on our alternate projects. Okay, so one of the things that I did in the January Paper Pumpkin video, and if you're interested in seeing the January Paper Pumpkin Kit video and alternate projects, which is all one video, I'll go ahead and I will link to that one as well. But on your same pamphlet that gives you your instructions, on the back of it, you will always see what your kit includes. This is your little inventory list. You can run down and make sure that you have all the items in your box. I've never had a problem, but it's always good to check. These are the 3 originally designed projects. They give you some alternate project ideas right here. You know, they do their own version of the alternate projects. Now here, the coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors is what we're focusing on right now. So last month I had decided to do a color key, meaning I stamped the entire stamp set that came in the Paper Pumpkin Kit in every single color that coordinated with the projects, so that I could just have a better overview of the colors and see what I liked. So we're gonna do that again this month. Here, as far as I can tell, is how they've coordinated the colors in the kit. They have Pool Party, Rich Razzleberry, Old Olive, Pretty Peacock, Petal Pink, and Rococo Rose. And just looking at the envelopes and the cards, so you can see the Petal Pink with the Rich Razzleberry. And then if you look here, you can kind of see the Rococo Rose with the Petal Pink and the Old Olive. I think that these all match beautifully, these 3 right here. And then if you take a look at this card and envelope, you can see how well they've matched the Pool Party to the Pretty Peacock. Okay, so just trying to familiarize myself with their color palette, because that's going to give me ideas for the alternate projects. So for anyone who is interested in how I make the stamp set in each of the coordinating colors, we're going to use the Stamparatus. Now, because we're working with the photopolymer stamps, which are the stamps that you can actually see through, I find that it's easier, even if you're using an individual block, to lay the stamp down and then pick it up with the block, because if you try to take the stamp and lay it onto the block or lay it onto the Stamparatus, one of the great things about the Stamparatus is that there's this graph right here that helps you keep your lines straight if you do prefer putting your stamps on that way. But for me, I think it's actually easier to lay it down and pick it up. You'll be less likely to bend or manipulate the stamp. Now, if you wanted to bend the stamp, you could actually do that to a certain extent. Like if you wanted it to be, you know, kind of shaped semicircle over top of the cake, or, you know, however you would want to do that, and then have your, you know, you're a great reason to celebrate underneath. That would be really cute. But right now, since we're just working with getting each of our stamps in the coordinating colors, this is how we're going to do it. And I just wanted you to know why that this is the way that I do it. You'll also see that there is some space between the stamps, and that is just so that I can get in there with either a die, if I want to use a die, or a punch, or if I want to fussy cut it, I can do that, so that I can actually use these images if I need them when I'm designing my alternate projects. Okay, so we're going to pick these up. I'm just going to lightly press over each one. And then we're just going to ink these in each one of the colors and stamp them down. The Whisper White paper has been cut to 7 by 7. Let's start with Pool Party. If you're noticing that one stamp is missing from the set, here's the original layout of the stamps here. These 3 little lines, I'm going to stamp into the cake separately because that's how the stamp was designed. So this is the only one that I'm not including in the key, but you could if you wanted to. Here is Pool Party. Here is Petal Pink. Here is Old Olive. Here is Rich Raspberry. Raspberry cake, anybody? Here is Rococo Rose. And here is Pretty Peacock with my little mistake. Just ignore that. On the back of Rich Raspberry, when you have a really dark color like this, I like to see the stamped off look sometime, and look at how pretty that is. Look at that color. I think that that's gorgeous. And that's just one stamp off. That would be the same for Old Olive. It would be the same for Pretty Peacock. Those would look gorgeous stamped off. So for me, I really tend to love the darker colors that stand out for the sentiments. I'm not sure about you. Let me know in the comments if you tend to go with softer colors or darker colors whenever you're working with smaller sentiments. I mean, these are, the font on this is very clear, very easy to read. So if you were using it in a lighter color, you can still see it clearly. Rococo Rose is kind of that perfect middle color. Not too light, not too dark, very pretty. And this is the star of the show in terms of the ink spot that they put in the kit this month. So you can see how nice that is. But when you start to work with these, what I have discovered by kind of stamping them in all of the colors and getting myself in that mindset is it kind of guides me towards what I would do for my alternate paper pumpkin project. In this case, when I was looking at the slice of cake and I was seeing it in the colors that they picked, the Rococo Rose and the Pool Party, or the Pretty Peacock, even the Petal Pink, okay, I was thinking gender reveal. That's a big thing right now. It's a big trend where people are finding out what they're having by getting a cake, and the cake is the color of the gender of the baby. So when you're looking at the alternate ideas that they give you when they suggest this stamp set, I think it would be such a cute idea to do a cake and then have the inside cake, the slice of the cake, be the gender reveal. So just depending on, you know, how you want to do this. Now you're probably thinking, I don't know how many people do gender reveal cards. That's very true. But you could think of this in terms of invitations or announcements, and you could do either the colors that they use right here in the kit, where, you know, you have a card and it's split in half of the color is the blue and half of the color is the pink, and you could invite somebody. In the 2020 mini catalog, there's actually an invitation stamp. So if you were making your own invitations and you were sending them out, inviting people to your gender reveal party, how cute would it be to have, you know, just little images of the cake on each side? Is it a boy or is it a girl? Okay, so I just want to talk briefly about some alternate ideas for you. So, and again, this is based on the coordinating colors that the Paper Pumpkin kit has. So what you're looking at right here, I'm actually missing Rich Raspberry. I'll have to go grab that cardstock. But what you're seeing here is cardstock for the Pretty Peacock, Rococo Rose, Petal Pink, and Pool Party. I wanted to show you these because this is Petal Pink And this is this is Pretty Peacock. This is Petal Pink. This is Whisper White. This is from Best Dressed. So if you have the 2020 mini catalog, you can either purchase these individually or you could purchase them as part of the suite, the Best Dressed suite. But because these colors match back to what's in the Paper Pumpkin kit this month, I want to suggest this as a possible alternate embellishment for you. The other thing that I wanted to point out is if you take a look at the shaker card for the alternate project that they made, they actually used the woven thread sequin assortment because these are the same colors as what's in the Paper Pumpkin, the Rococo Rose, the Pretty Peacock. These are very complementary shades. I am interested in the gender reveal idea because my mind's kind of going with the boy-girl concept because we can fill in the cake color with the slice of cake. I am going to customize mine a little bit with the following stamp sets. So if you have stamps that already say boy, girl, by all means, go for it. I do not, so I'm going to be making those words with the Make a Difference stamp set. And then also, this is a great tie-in. This is a great alternate stamp set, I think, if you are considering a baby theme. Okay, so here are some alternate project ideas with the February 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Lovely Day. So we just made the original card projects. Now we're kind of playing with the alternate projects. And with the alternate projects, I'm always referring back to product that I already own that I can coordinate to work with the alternate projects. So let's talk about that a little bit. I tried to stay within the color theme of the coordinating colors that were chosen in the kit, meaning we're working with Pool Party, Pretty Peacock with these two projects. The only takeaway or the only, veer off from the colors was these two little sequins that are terracotta tile. And that's just to look like a flame on the birthday cake. So I did take some creative license there and used a different color. And then with this one, we're definitely still sticking within the theme. We have Old Olive, we have the Rich Raspberry, we have Rococo Rose, and just a little touch of Petal Pink in their die cut flower for this particular card. These cards are larger. These are 5x7 cards. They're larger than the card sizes that come in the Paper Pumpkin Kit. And that was just to give an idea for what it could look like if you had more real estate, if you were working with a larger card. And then the last thing is this little baby girl treat box. So just in the way that I was talking about, if you were thinking about doing a gender reveal or little favors or something like that was kind of the first thing that popped into my head. I'm still playing around with card projects. I have an idea of what I want to do with that, but I haven't actually made it yet. And by the time I do make it, I'll be way past due for this video. So I'm going to post this video, and then if I do come up with additional ideas, I will take pictures of those and post those. Or if you're interested in seeing a follow-up video, just let me know. But anyway, this one veers off quite a bit. So with this one, the only thing that we really stuck with the Paper Pumpkin Kit is the actual, this little flag die cut piece that I stamped onto. And then the little sequins and the color Petal Pink. That's really the only thing that I stuck with from the Paper Pumpkin Kit for this girl version. But we're going to do a Rococo Rose version live, and then you'll get to see, putting this one together and what we end up doing with this one. So the rest of this is Best Dressed. So this treat box and this treat box is from Best Dressed. I've worked with this many times now. I've done several different videos. And now I'm using it again because, as you can tell, I love it. And then these little fringy things are also from Best Dressed. The little buttons are from the dies from Best Dressed. These little buckles are from Best Dressed. So this one is a little bit more of a takeaway. This is a little more Best Dressed than it is Paper Pumpkin Alternative, but I did stick with the Petal Pink, the Rococo Rose color, and this little rose gold. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. With this one, I did stay closer to the Paper Pumpkin Kit. This is the actual leftover piece from the window in the original Paper Pumpkin card. And then this print, this is from an actual card base here. And then we use the same colors. I did use embossing folders on these treat boxes. For this one, I used the wood embossing folder. I'll put up on the screen the actual name of the product. On this embossing folder, it was actually from the holiday catalog. I think this is called Ornate, but I'll put the exact name up on the screen of this embossing folder as well. You can use this congratulations stamp is actually from the Paper Pumpkin Kit, but the BOY is not. BOY is from the Make a Difference stamp set. I just used the B, the O, and the Y and stamped it twice in Pool Party. Okay. This baby girl, this handwritten girl is also from Make a Difference. It's just the script fonts, and I had to stamp these letters one at a time to get that look. And then this little word baby is from the Wildly Happy stamp set. Okay, and then with these here, the Celebrate, the Congratulations, both of these stamps are from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. This stamp is from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. This is the same exact thing. This is just the different color palette. So this is the Rich Raspberry and the Rococo Rose. We're going to stamp one of these today. And then these stamps are also from the Paper Pumpkin kit, and this is the die from the Paper Pumpkin kit. So the cards stayed much closer to the Paper Pumpkin kit in terms of the alternative, and then I have some of the sequins from there as well. Okay, one thing I do want to mention before I start jumping around and making projects is, if you remember Everything is Rosy, and I actually just went into our online store on the clearance rack, and as I say this to you, it is February 20th, maybe. So if you look at this, these are the letters that came, the three-dimensional phrases that came in the Paper Pumpkin kit this month. And you can see that it has been foil stamped in like a rose gold. There is a running rose gold theme through the Paper Pumpkin kit for February. It's on the die cut pieces as well that you can stamp your sentiments onto. I want to bring up Everything is Rosy because Everything is Rosy is an exact match in terms of this rose gold coloring. It is gorgeous. Now, I've talked about Everything is Rosy a couple of times. I actually have a video working with Everything is Rosy. I may be maxed out on what I can link in this video. If not, I'll put the link in the description if you're interested in seeing that. But there are many different things that you can do. The main thing that I want to bring up is that Everything is Rosy had these these rose gold solid foil sheets. I believe that there were 6 of them. I can't remember exactly. This is a 6x6 size. This is how they're pre-cut. They come with an entire pack of designer series paper, double-sided. These are single-sided. The foil sheets are single-sided, but the designer series paper is double-sided, and it has that rose gold theme running through it. I didn't grab those papers, but I just wanted to show you that these foil stamped pieces that came from Everything is Rosy all have that same color. So if you own this, this would be great for alternative projects. If you're working with the Paper Pumpkin kit and you need ideas and you're really loving those words like I am, this would be so perfect and beautiful with that. I'm going to be using the rose gold foil cardstock to be making this little treat bag live with you today. Okay, so I used this foil cardstock to cut these buttons and these clasps that we're going to put onto this box. Okay, so we'd still be staying within the theme for Paper Pumpkin. The box itself is going to be Rococo Rose. And then they also have this really cool paint. I was just working with it. What did I do with it? Here it is. Okay, so this also came. Everything is Rosy is a medley. So if you haven't purchased this yet, check it out in the clearance rack in the online store. It's only $44 for the entire medley. It comes with embellishments and dies and really versatile stamps and fabulous designer series paper and these beautiful foil sheets. It comes with this rose gold all-purpose ink. It's good for paper, fabric, wood, leather. You can check into this, but this turned out really cute. So I stamped the Happy Birthday to You cake in Rococo Rose, and then I took that metallic ink and I just, with a tiny little paintbrush, just dabbed these little berries in the insides of the flowers just to kind of give it that little hint because we're going to use it. The other thing that I did was I wanted you to see what this rose gold paper looks like embossed. So we're going to fussy cut. They now have a coordinating die set during product coordination for the Happy Birthday to You stamp set that you could purchase to go with this. I do not own that, so we're going to fussy cut it, but I did want to mention it. Now, the other thing that I want to do here, if you would want to have another layering piece behind this, I would probably do Whisper White. I tend to do that. I tend to like to have those layering pieces backing up my other ones. I'm a layerer, but you certainly don't have to do that. Let me just take a look here and see what this looks like. Not the perfect size, but if you'd want just that little extra pop of color, just imagine that. Well, you don't even need it the whole way around. You could stop it right there. And just have that little lip there. That's always a nice design element sometimes. Okay, and then I would just bring the cake down here, and then I'm going to incorporate one of my words to say celebrate. So let's do that. Stamp set. Here it is. Okay, so if you would want to use this happy birthday on the inside, that is from the alternate stamp set that they're suggesting. Okay. We are going to make our congratulations celebrate card. And to do that, we're going to use our Stamparatus. Okay. So with the Stamparatus, the concept behind this one was I was using up some of my scrap, Whisper White paper. I had cut a bunch of pieces of paper down, and I have this size. This one's a little roughed up. Let me get a different one. Here we go. I had a bunch left over in this size. So that looks like 2.5 inches by 8 3/4, just under that. 8.5. Okay, and then this gets trimmed down to the card size. So this will basically become a 7-inch piece of paper, and we could go ahead and trim that down right now to 7 inches if we want. So let's do 7. All right. So I just line up the paper to match this. Oh, watch your magnets. I do this all the time. I have my little foam mat down because we're working with the photopolymer stamps from the Paper Pumpkin kit. Okay, I'm just getting it in line. Going to put a magnet up at the top and a magnet at the bottom. All right, and then the colors that we were using were the Rich Razzleberry for congratulations, Now what I was doing with my Stamparatus was I was removing the arm or the plate and and then I'm going to grab my Rococo Rose. I'm going to ink up Celebrate. And we just do this and repeat down the card or down this piece of Whisper White. And then I thought it would be fun to do a little sequin as the flame. These are from the Paper Pumpkin kit. I'm going to use an adhesive dot with it. Okay, so here we go. Here are some of the alternate card projects, and of course just a difference in the cardstock sizes. A little bit more stamping on this one with the die cut flower. This one was the cake, just with a little sequins here. There are more sequins on this card, but you get the idea. I'm just loosening up the score lines on our treat box. For our two straps, we are going to add our rose gold buckles. Before we glue them down. Okay, and then we're just going to take adhesive, put them on the edges of the straps. And I was lining my straps up with the peaked parts of the top of the treat box here. I did not glue down my buckles, so you can actually move them around if you want on here. Trying to keep it uniform on both sides and trying to keep them the straps closer to the edge so that you can stuff your treat box. These treat boxes, they're a good size, but I wouldn't put anything in there that is too heavy. I just ran out of my tear and tape, if you're wondering why I switched to snail. Same thing with the straps. I want to make sure that the straps are about the same. And just gently bending and then matching them up on the back side. Okay, and then these are our little movable buckles. We'll do this one out since the other ones are in. Okay, so I used the Timeless Label Punch. Actually fit. So I like the Timeless Label Punch for this, for the congratulations stamp. And instead of saying boy or girl, you know, and you could choose whatever you want for your little gift box. You know, could be Mother's Day, could be birthday, could be, you know, any one of those things. What I'm going to do is keep it simple here. The other thing that we could do would be something like that. I don't know how I feel about a cake on there. So I'm going to keep it pretty much with a baby theme, but instead of actually saying baby, now of course you could say baby, you could say boy, you could say girl. I'm just going to kind of keep it on the simpler side here. And then I also want to incorporate some of the buttons. So I think what I'm going to do is just do 2 buttons right here and then 2 buttons at the bottom. Buttons are a common decoration or embellishment when it comes to baby stuff. All right, the last thing we're going to add in are some sequins. And then here is another super cute alternative treat box. So the things that we stuck with from the kit were the color Rococo Rose with the rose gold pops. We did use the stamp from the Paper Pumpkin kit. We used the sequins, the petal pink sequins from the Paper Pumpkin kit. And then the other things that we brought in, again, were Best Dressed and Everything is Rosy. Best Dressed, we used the whole entire treat box, the buckles and the buttons. Used the circle punch just for the rose gold cardstock, and then these little floral embellishments were actually from Everything is Rosy, as well as the rose gold cardstock. Okay, here are our Paper Pumpkin cards. These are the ones that came with the kit. Okay. Here's the difference in the card size from the ones that we made, our alternatives to the original. And here are our alternative cards. And then here are our alternate treat boxes. Okay, so many things that you can do and make with this kit.